It is Tuesday, September 21st. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who's tasting batches and still wearing that same old hat, J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday afternoon, recapping the Jaguars' loss to the Denver Broncos for one final time. Then we're going to put the thing to bed and move on to week 3. That's how it works in the NFL. It's on to the next 24-hour rule until today. And then we'll after this. So maybe 36 hours. I was told there would be no math this week after last week's debacle.
48. Just say 48.
2-day rule. Here's what's coming up on the show today, and a busy program. That was Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. We'll take our final look at 23-13, the loss to the Broncos. The Arizona Cardinals are red hot offensively coming in. They escaped by the skin of their teeth this past Sunday on a missed field goal by the Vikings, but they're 2-0, and right there in that really, really good NFC West division. And they've got a great quarterback and receivers. They got a lot of things. We'll go through them. Urban Meyer coming up on the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network at 5 o'clock. We'll look forward to hearing from the Jaguars head coach, J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. And here we go. Another losing result, Logs. There were pieces of this game, though, and very few, but some pieces of this game felt better. The operation from the sideline to the field, getting the play in, the right number of players in the huddle, those important pre-snap things.
Yeah, because the first
right?
week it was rough.
Yeah,
I mean, really rough, and really not any excuse for that type of organization in a game. And I mean, occasionally you might have an issue, but it was good to see that they did not have any of those issues. And so offensively and defensively, it's not like you were starting behind the chains because of your own personal mistakes. At least you were able to compete on even ground. The problem is that turnovers and giveaways continue to be an issue for a football team that's playing a young quarterback. And I think what they do going forward, JP, to remedy that, I think is going to be very interesting, because I think they've got to take a good long look at some of the things that they're doing as far as having balance, so that it's going to give them the greatest chance at success is having balance for 2 reasons.
One.
Okay. Number one, you got a damn good running back in James Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay. Really good football player. He was your best football player last year, and he's arguably your best football player right now.
Okay. That's number one.
Number two, the more that James Robinson is toting the rock, the less pressure falls on a young quarterback that is clearly in the learning phase of a young career. So what's wrong with that? Okay. And it'll be interesting. We're going to ask Urban, okay, how do you achieve more balance? Because, I mean, that's, I think, is a very important question. How do you do that as a team? Because going back to the early part of when he was hired, he talked about having a good rushing attack and having balance. And right now, the score you can't use as an excuse in this past game, because the score was relatively close. But you still didn't have a lot of balance.
Got to get that balance on offense. We'll get to the defense coming up as well. And we heard from head coach Urban Meyer, of course, after the game. He always speaks to us on Jaguars postgame radio, the first word with the head coach, and then with the media right after that, following whatever the result is. He also catches up with the media on Monday, and he said this team is still fighting.
There's a lot of fight in this team. This team's there's 15 games left. And our goal is to have the strongest locker room that you can possibly have. I feel like it's extremely strong right now. Players are pissed. Players want to win. Players are sticking it together, and that's the best part of our team. The best part of our organization right now is what's in that locker room.
That's Urban after the game on Sunday, speaking with the media. Yeah, so the locker room, it's all about the players, getting those guys to still believe and improve as the weeks go along here. They may not become a playoff team next week, but if you improve some of the things that you're trying to build upon, then you can have something in a few weeks.
Well, one thing is for certain, I understand what he's trying to accomplish there, because if you're trying to fight back from losing, and if the locker room is not together and it's fractured, you have no chance of getting better. And so what he's trying to do is to maintain a belief that, hey, look, we're continuing to work, we're continuing to get better, and give them the belief that we will be better so that they can continue to improve. And that's not easy to do once you get into the regular season of the National Football League. Typically, the best way to do that is in the offseason by getting better players. But it's hard. I mean, you have so many different limitations once you get in the regular season from a time standpoint, to where most of the time is spent prepping for the game and installing a game plan and not so much working on basic technique and fundamentals. And so that's why it's very difficult for teams to make significant change during the season. Now, experience is definitely a huge part of improvement, and that will help, especially with a young quarterback, no doubt, JP.
Let's hear from the quarterback who threw a couple of picks in that game last week. Had an early touchdown on a beautiful opening drive. They converted 3 third downs on that drive, had another with penalty to move them forward. They got in the end zone, but later in the game, those turnovers, Trevor Lawrence says it's a work in progress.
2 turnovers, got to get better at that. Surtain made a great catch on the go ball, so that's one of those. It's like, he made a great play. It happens, but the other one was a bad decision by me. But just continually putting these drives together to stay in the game, because you could see we're that close today and just kind of got out of the game towards the end, and they ran with it. But I think we're close, and obviously it's not what anybody wants to see, and it's frustrating and disappointing, but we're going to stick together, and I really feel like we're close. We got good enough players to win these games, so we should keep going to work.
We need Trevor to come give us a pep talk here in the show before we go on the air every week.
He's got a great attitude.
He does.
Yeah, he's got a great attitude, and you go back and you look at the interceptions, and you never want to see them, but young quarterbacks are going to have interceptions. I mean, Peyton Manning had, I think it was like 26, 7, or 8 interceptions his rookie year, in which he only won 3 games. I mean, that happens. It's part of the learning process. But I think one of the things that he will be taught is that, okay, let's go back and let's look at the interceptions. How do we correct it? How do we make sure that we don't do this again? The first interception was right after a James Robinson strong run. I believe it was a 7-yard run, so you've got a 2nd and 3 situation. 2nd and 3 is kind of like a free down. So you don't put anything in the air that's going to be risky on a 2nd and 3. If you got a check down, take the check down. If you have to eat the football or throw it away, then do so. And on that particular play, he was late on the decision-making, getting the ball to Farrell, his tight end, and allowed Kareem Jackson the time to get over the top and to make the interception, and he's a veteran player. And he wouldn't have gotten there if the decision was made quickly to throw the ball, or if the decision was made to throw it to a check down to James Robinson. The second interception, you've got a 1st and 15. You had a penalty that set you back to the 1st and 15, but it's first down. So do you want to press the ball at 1st and 15? No. I mean, sometimes you've got an underneath route, which he had on that particular play that could have been a moderate completion.
Now, if it's really open, then maybe, right?
Oh, absolutely, if it's really open, but it really wasn't open.
Yeah, if you're rolling the dice, then maybe not.
And I think I get the impression, JP, that sometimes Trevor Lawrence is trying to score 14 points with one throw. You understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, just trying to do a little much.
Trying to do a little too much, and then that's typical of young quarterbacks. That's part of the learning process that has to happen with young quarterbacks, that they need to understand that the only way that they can score a lot of points is to hit the open guys and let some of those guys do something with the ball. But I appreciate, I appreciate eyes down the field, and he's looking down the field. And then he missed some things down the field too. That DJ Chark on a post route down the middle that DJ had probably 2 or 3 steps on the defensive back, and he misses them.
I think he had Farrell at one point open and didn't throw to him either.
Well, he had him open at one time, and then Surtain had the interception.
Yeah,
I know you called him Surtain, and he's learning still on that too. But one of the things that I think, in that situation, because who was his intended target on the Surtain interception? Do you remember?
I do not.
I think it was Tyron Johnson.
Oh, yeah, it was Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
If I've got a decision, this is just me. If I've got a decision that, okay, I've got one-on-one, because that's a 50-50 ball type of situation, right? And the coverage was tight.
Okay.
Coverage was pretty tight. Surtain was on him. So it's not like there was 2 or 3 steps and Trevor sees that separation and throws it.
They're kind of hip to hip.
He kind of hip to hip, and he decides to make that throw. If I've got the great Jimmy Smith, okay, one of the Jaguars' all-time great wide receivers, I'll make that throw. Okay. If I've got Tyron Johnson, I mean, no offense to Tyron Johnson, but the guy wasn't even on the football team when training camp started. Mm-hmm. And I think this is part of the learning process. Because, maybe on the other side, if you got DJ Chark and it's single high safety, okay, let me think. Tyron Johnson, DJ Chark. Tyron Johnson, DJ Chark.
Well, there's a little more history, I guess, with Chark than there is with Johnson.
Well,
more of his ability.
You have to learn that there are some that you can trust and that there are some that you can't or that you're not ready to yet, okay? And so in that situation, because both of the vertical routes were essentially hip-to-hip covered, throw it underneath. It's 1st and 15. You get a 6-yard gain. Look, 2nd and 9 is okay, Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you can't be greedy, and I think in some cases he's getting a little bit greedy, but that, again, that's part of the learning process for a young quarterback. And a lot of people maybe have the expectation that, well, he's a first overall pick of the draft, he's not going to go through it. No. He's still got to go through it. It's just that's part of the growth, the growth curve. It's got to happen.
Let's discuss a little defense now. The Jags, because of some of the offensive issues, were on the field defensively for nearly 39 minutes in the game. Shaq Griffin, after the game, on the play calling on the defensive side and how they tried to hang in there.
Coach Cullen did an amazing job making sure the call was perfect. I feel like his play call was amazing this game. I made sure I told him that right after the game. That was perfect. Every situation was great, and let's build off of it. Let's continue to build off that. Continue to get this defense together. We just got to start getting turnovers. Continue to help the offense out.
Got to get the ball. Josh Allen talked about that earlier in the season. I just got to figure out a way to get the football. Allen had a sack, nearly swatted the ball away from Teddy Bridgewater, slinging him around a couple times. It didn't come out. And then Shaq Griffin again had the ball in his hands a couple of different times. It would have been an acrobatic interception.
It would have been a circus catch.
But the ball, it's close. It's as close as they got, I guess, on Sunday, and they still haven't reeled one in yet.
And that's an issue. If you look at the success or lack of success of this franchise, especially now on a 17-game losing streak, you look at plus-minus differential, and you can't win unless you start to change that stat. I mean, literally, your chances of winning, and we've talked about this before, and I don't know the exact numbers, but
they're not great.
I'm talking about the numbers of turnover differential.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you're even, okay, it's 50-50. If you get one takeaway, your percentage probably jumps, 16-17%, somewhere in that range. If you get 2 takeaways, you're +2, then your probability of win is probably in the 70% range. If you go to +3, it's probably in the 90% range. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, the better you are in turnover differential, and that's the single most determining factor in all of football, if you look at that stat, that will tell you better than any other stat whether you're winning or losing is the turnover differential. And since you're not getting any takeaways as a defense and you have a young quarterback that's learning and figuring things out and he's been turning the ball over, that's why you're not winning right now. And in order to change winning and losing, you need to change that number.
Let's come back in a moment. Plenty of show ahead here on Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll get a little deeper into the Jaguars' offensive issues from last week and go through some of the wide receivers so far and see if they can get some balance with a running game also. And coming up a little later, we'll look at the AFC South as well and see what the rest of the teams in the division did in week number 2. Season tickets, single game tickets, and group tickets are still available. Be a part of the new era of Jaguars football and own it. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. And by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide.
Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday afternoon. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Glad you're along with us. The Urban Meyer Show coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach and get his final thoughts on the loss to the Broncos, what they're working on this week, and get ready for Arizona coming to town in week number 3. Coming to Daly's Place tonight, it is the legend, Carlos Santana, and his band. Tomorrow, 311, Counting Crows Thursday, Coheed and Cambria Friday. Tickets at dailysplace.com. Busy week this week. October schedule's nuts as well. I'm going to guess. Maybe we'll ask Urban this. I bet Urban's a Santana fan.
Oh, you would think so. I mean, Santana's one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, he played Woodstock.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's,
how old is he now?
He's got to be, mid-70s, right?
That's a great question. He's
that's
been rocking for a long time.
What the internet is for.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen him once, and he's fantastic. That was in a festival setting, and this apparently is just him and his band, so they might go for a while tonight. He's 74 years old. Wow. Still getting after it.
That's pretty cool, though, right? 74 and rocking.
And you never know who might come on stage with him tonight. So check it out, dailysplace.com for tickets. Let's get back to the Jaguars.
Not you, right? You're not going on stage.
I am not going to be on stage tonight. I'll be at the show, most likely. Jaguars offense, 83 yards on the opening drive. Smooth as can be.
Mm-hmm.
But then things got rocky in a hurry. The next 3 drives combined for 7 yards.
That's correct.
They had a 40-yard drive at one point but missed a field goal right before half. They had 106 yards the rest of the day after drive number 1. What in the world happened?
Well, you had a lot of different things happen. I think that you had a quarterback that wasn't quite as crisp as the first drive. From that point on, I thought he was trying to be a little bit too aggressive down the field instead of sometimes taking what the defense will give you, which sometimes is underneath. Sometimes he missed things that were open down the field. He missed DJ Chark, which might have been a touchdown pass going down in the deep middle, and DJ probably had 2 or 3 steps on the defensive back. And so then you had a protection issues a couple times that stalled drives. But for the most part, I think the offensive line against a very good Denver Broncos defensive front did very well, I thought. I thought it was good enough to win. And then defensively, you weren't able to take the ball away. So when you're not very efficient at the quarterback position throughout the course of the game, and then you turn the ball over, and then you don't get takeaways as a defense, and you allow some big explosive plays by Cortland Sutton and an easy touchdown by the tight end Noah Fant, and you allow Teddy Bridgewater to create more time in the pocket to get the completions and the efficiency, it's hard to win that way.
It's a long list.
I thought that the Jaguars defense for the most part did okay against the run. And that's what I would say going back to the previous week in Houston. They did okay.
They're okay. Yeah.
But the issue is that for this defense, because they're not generating a great pass rush, because if they were, they would have a takeaway by now, that doing okay is not good enough. You have to be really good against the run, I think, if you're defense to give yourself the best chance that you need to have to be able to get after the passer, JP. I mean, it can't be did okay. This defense, if they want to be where they want to be in a stop the pass standpoint, you have to be outstanding against the run. And right now, I don't think they've been outstanding yet. I mean, you look at what the young running back from the Denver Broncos, Javonte Williams, did.
Yep.
I mean, he was really good.
There was that one run where he broke like 3 tackles. He's kind of keeping his balance, and then
the more the game wore on, the better he looked.
That's right.
I mean, and so
those guys, that's how it works for those guys.
You want to have that happen the opposite way. As the game is wearing on, your defense is getting better, and you're shutting them out and making it hard for Teddy Bridgewater with 3rd and 7+. And I don't think they accomplished that.
Going to the secondary now when the ball is in the air, there was that one long play at the start of the third quarter, but C.J. Henderson was out of the game at that point with the hip issue. Chris Claybrooks was in on that play, and Sutton just kind of ran right past him, it felt like.
Well, C.J. Henderson was on the field on the one crossing route where he gives up the touchdown.
That's
it was
right.
Man coverage.
There was that also.
I mean,
so there's –
and it was a poor job of trying to get across the field to cover it. I mean, look, there's traffic all the time when you have man coverage. Find a way to fight through it. And it was almost like he was hesitant to kind of fight through that traffic. And you can't be hesitant.
You got to get there. Yeah.
If you get knocked on your fanny trying to get there, get knocked on your fanny, but don't just kind of say, whoa, I can't get through that. No. See if you can.
How about the rest of the secondary this past week? I think Rayshon Jenkins has been a nice addition so far.
Yeah, he's done a good job. But, week 1 he missed an opportunity there trying to break up some deep balls. And I thought he was okay this week. I thought that Andrew Wingard played a solid game.
Everybody's been on Wingard. Or not everybody. A lot of fans have been on Wingard.
Well, he didn't play well the first game.
But he was better this week.
But, I thought he played pretty well. He had a sack. He was active. He didn't miss any tackles where he did the previous week. So I thought he was okay.
Everybody's kind of everybody. I keep saying everybody. Some folks feel that Andre Sisco could see a little more time as the year progresses here. Okay, who do you take off the field?
Me?
Wingard?
Yeah.
Okay. What if Wingard continues to get better?
Then great. But here's the thing. Andrew Wingard didn't have 14 or 15 interceptions in 23 career games in college.
Right.
Whatever that number was. In fact, let me look at it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
13 interceptions in 24 games at Syracuse.
Yes.
I mean,
ball skills, man. Yeah, no doubt.
Can Winger do that?
We haven't seen it yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to, be joking here. I'm just saying is that, look, when you have a guy that has the ability to take the ball away like that, and you're a defense right now that has goose egg, 0 takeaways, you might want to get the guys on the field that can change that number, right? I mean, so
yeah,
there's a guy. And here's the one thing I do understand. Cisco is still on his way back from an ACL injury that he suffered at Syracuse. So is there a schedule and a plan that they have in place to allow him to get back to being full speed? I'm sure there is. I mean, most trainers, doctors always have a plan. But, or is it that, or is it, okay, we need to have him earn it, and he hasn't shown us yet that he's earning the more reps. When he starts playing and he starts earning more reps, then we'll give him more reps. I mean, maybe it's some of that too. I don't know. But I know this. He's got ball skills. I mean, I watch his college film. I watch his preseason performances. This guy can play some football. And when he gets if he's anywhere around the ball, it's his.
Well, that would sound pretty nice for this defense right about now.
It's what you need.
You know?
And the other thing is, too, Shaq Griffin had his hands on the ball.
He had week 1, he had an early one, and then he had another one this week that would have been an acrobatic catch, but still.
It would have been a crazy catch. But, look, I mean, sometimes that's, you got to make them. I mean, make a crazy catch because there's going to be some easy ones that you drop. I mean, that's how it works. So you got to start making some more splash plays as a defense, whether that's pressuring a quarterback, sacking a quarterback, and a good job. Look, you got 3 sacks this past game, and I like the production of Gotsis. I think if there's a question, do you have Taven Bryan or Adam Gotsis active on game day? I'm choosing Adam Gotsis from now on. The previous week they chose to have him inactive, and Taven Bryan was active. Adam Gotsis, I think, gives you more productivity. I think that's very obvious. And so if you're trying to put the best football team out there, you put them out there.
Well, there was the one 4th down play that comes to my mind, speaking of Taven Bryan, where he ended up on his backside.
Yeah. He
4th and 2.
He got knocked. It was 4th and 1, 1.5.
What
is 4th and short, and it was a quarterback sneak. And Bobby Massey ended up taking him back and essentially putting him on his back at 5 yards deep. And that's only one play out of the game. And look, everybody's had and will have their rear end kicked in the National Football League. That happens.
Yeah, sure.
But the plays that I'm referring to, and that Gotsis just has more awareness. He has more awareness for where the ball is and where he needs to go. So he has a better nose for the football. And when you have a better nose for the football, it's about making plays than play them.
We got a sack last week, too. Plenty ahead. We'll come back in a moment and look ahead, Logs. The Arizona Cardinals are coming to town in week 3. One of the hottest offenses in football.
And they have arguably one of the most entertaining offenses in the National Football League.
Let's hope not this week.
I hope not.
We'll break it all down when we come back. Check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network, a free subscription on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download your pods. Give us that 5-star rating as always. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide.
Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin's $2 medium hot or iced coffee Tuesdays for rewards members. The NFL season is more than just what happens on game day. That's why Dunkin' wants to get you through the game week too. During football season, the best call is always Dunkin'. Whether it's the morning after a late night game or getting hyped for the week to come, pick up a cup of your favorite coffee and tackle the day with Dunkin'. Join today and order ahead of the Dunkin' app. Jacksonville Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limit 1 per week.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I think I'm processing it as good as you can. Obviously, you want to win, and like I said, you work all week to win, and when you don't, it's disappointing. But I feel like I'm in a good spot. I'm the same person, same mindset. Nothing's changed. So making sure I keep my confidence every week is big, and I think I have that. So we're gonna get better. We're close. You know, it's obviously last week and this week doesn't look great when you look at the numbers, but I really feel like we're close, and we just gotta make some more plays and stick together.
There's the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, after the game Sunday, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday afternoon. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato on the audio, Brent Reber on the video side on Jaguars.com. The Urban Meyer Show coming up at 5 o'clock. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach, as we always do on Tuesdays, get his final thoughts on the previous week's game, and then an early look at week number 3. And our early look at week number 3 begins now, and you don't need to look much further than Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. He is among the league leaders in a few passing categories early this season. He's a dynamic playmaker, gets out of the pocket. He's a former baseball player who's a first-round pick as an outfielder for the Oakland A's. He's just got a different style about him when he runs around, and then can throw the ball down the field at different arm angles and twisting and turning and fading away, and it always seems to be, you know, like 50 yards down the field and on the money somehow.
Sometimes.
How does that work?
Not all the time. I mean, he will throw some interceptions now. So this week, if there was any week to break the lack of takeaways as a defense, this is the week, because he will throw you one, and you've got to make sure that you catch it. And he might throw you 2. If he does, you got to.
If he's going to throw 2, why not 3 or 4? Come on, Kyler.
Well, it could be. It just depends on how well your offense performs and what the score differential is and what side of the fence that it's lying on. Because if you put the Arizona Cardinals in a situation where they've got to play a little bit of catch up, then that would be better for your defense. But the one thing about Kyler Murray is it's like a video game.
It really is.
He's all over the map, but he's running around, and then all of a sudden he'll stop and throw it down the field. He scores with his legs. He's accounted for 9 touchdowns as a quarterback so far, which probably is one of the best in the league, if not the best. And I seriously, when I say this, you might want to put as much speed as you have on the field when he's out there, because he will extend plays, and the more speed you have, the less likely possibly that you are going to give him more time.
Do you have a spy, for lack of a better term? Do you have somebody that just follows him around on defense?
You can. I've seen that done before. I mean, if you have somebody that is exceptional at extending the play, and I've seen it done before to where a team might rush 3 instead of 4, and then the 4th guy is not in coverage, but he basically just stays right there at the line of scrimmage, and it could be your fastest defensive end, rusher, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be your fastest linebacker. For example, if you put Telvin Smith out there, or Miles Jack. I mean, thinking about fast linebackers in Jaguars history.
Yeah.
Those are probably 2 of the fastest. Like those type of guys, you would say, okay, you stay here, and then once he decides to go left, right, or up the middle,
go get him.
You're on him. And when I was in New York one time, I remember we had a defensive back in that role. It didn't work very well, but we tried it.
Okay.
That was one of Pete Carroll's early trial and error type of defenses that he had.
the error more than
it definitely didn't work.
Huh. So, of course, when you have a quarterback like that, it helps when you have some weapons down the field, and they have some. Certainly in Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins is there, former Texans wide receiver, and we know all well what kind of player he is. Though, in his career against the Jaguars, he's played in 14 games, only 6 touchdowns, but, that was over, the time with the Houston Texans, 2 100-yard games in that time. But if you let off him at all, even if you cover him with a guy or double cover him, we've seen him make some incredible catches, certainly in his time in Arizona so far.
He is he's got great hands, does a great job with contested catches. He's not a burner anymore. I think he's essentially a possession receiver, and he probably won't agree to that. And he makes bigger plays than most possession receivers as far as the multitude of them, but the speed is not a factor with him anymore. He's not going to run by anybody.
I feel like this is probably going to be on his bulletin board in his locker this week. Jeff Lageman says DeAndre
like
Hopkins
he cares
slow.
what I say. You think he cares what I say? He doesn't care what I say. But, I mean, that's what he's become. I mean, look at his career stats.
I mean, as receivers age, that's kind of what happens sometimes. Yeah, sure.
It hasn't happened with A.J. Green.
Yeah, well,
A.J. Green is still –
he's like year 11, right? And he's on the team, too, in Arizona, by the way.
Julio Jones. What is he in, like year 20?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There he goes. I mean, look, some guys still got it. And that's just not DeAndre Hopkins' game. But I can tell you this. For a quarterback that runs around a lot and creates what we call scramble rules plays or broken plays, you might not have a better receiver than DeAndre Hopkins on the planet, because he's creative. He invents things. And when the quarterback throws it up to him, the quarterback trusts that he's going to catch the ball, and at the very least, he's not going to let the opponent catch the ball.
October 20th, 2018, Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, Indiana, under the lights. Purdue upset number 3 Ohio State, 49-20. It was Urban Meyer's 32nd and final college loss. In that game, Rondale Moore had 12 receptions, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Boilermakers, and an upset win. The only loss of the season for the Buckeyes. They went on to win the Rose Bowl, but
wait.
not the national championship. Rondale Moore now with Arizona, leading the Cardinals in targets, catches, and yards.
Which is amazing. He played at Purdue?
Yes.
Ohio State lost to Purdue?
Yes, they did. They stormed the field that night at Ross-Ade.
How do you do that?
Well, that's
I mean,
how
Ohio State has –
when guys like this put together those kind of performances.
Yeah, but Ohio State has, like, really good players.
It was an upset. Dwayne Haskins in that game, by the way, side note, threw the ball 73 times for the Buckeyes that night.
What?
73, and they only scored 20 points.
How many times did they run it?
I don't know, but it was a heck of a night. Let's put it that way. Rondale Moore was a big reason why.
Passes.
Yes.
God, I mean,
it's a lot. How does his arm not fall off?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
In the NFL, if you get 70 plays, you're lucky.
Right.
For real.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I'd say the average number of plays in the National Football League is probably right around 70. Maybe 65, 65, 70,
sure,
somewhere right in that range, right?
Yeah. Because the clock's moving all the time and you're up and at it. The play clock's a little shorter. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
But anyway.
That's crazy.
But Moore is a guy who stepped in this year as a rookie, second-round pick, and really been a nice addition for this Arizona offense. And he's like 5'7", by the way. He can go play.
He is what?
5'7".
He is.
Yes, he is.
I haven't watched a ton of him yet.
Yeah, you need to.
But I will.
Yeah.
And here's the one thing I will say about the Cardinals. They got a lot of single-digit guys. Every team, kind of jumped on that bandwagon. They want to do a bunch of single digits. And nobody seems to like the number 2, except for a quarterback in New York.
Why is that?
I don't know.
That's weird.
But Chase Edmonds has number 2. You got Kyler Murray at 1. Chase Edmonds was wearing 2. Nobody likes 3, I guess. Rondale Moore is 4. Nobody likes 5. If you were going to pick a single digit to wear, JP, and you were playing ball,
yeah,
regardless of position, what number would you want to wear?
That's a good one. I don't know. 8. It's kind of, I don't know. I have no idea.
Any particular reason why?
Not really.
Joe, what number would you wear? Joe
Number
would
5.
wear number 5.
Logs, you'd be number 1.
No,
probably. Yeah,
no, I'm not a big fan of the number 1.
Okay.
That's kind of a look at me number.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Not saying anything bad
like
about
you were,
Kyler Murray, but
yeah, I was going to say that's on his bulletin board now. Way to go, Logs.
I know one thing is that Jihad Ward wears number 6.
Yeah, he kind of shook the tree last night.
Well,
by the way,
he what?
He kind of shook the tree on social media last night.
What did he do?
Apparently, he said something regarding the Ravens they were on, and he apologized to Jaguars fans today.
Oh, okay.
That. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So hopefully, it's water under the bridge. But anyway, you
I hope
brought
so.
his name up.
I hope so. Okay,
had to bring it
so
up.
now I'm going to want to go to Twitter and find out what he said. But anyway, if you're 6'5", is that what he is? 6'5", 6'6", something like that, and 290 pounds.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah.
A single-digit number just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
It's allowed though now. See, they changed the rule.
It's like wearing stripes, okay, and you're really wide, and you wear horizontal stripes. Makes you look wider. Okay, so if you're a big man, stick with the double digits. It makes you look better in a jersey. When you wear a single-digit number, it kind of makes you look a little portly. And I'm not saying Jihad is a little portly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying is that it makes you look not quite as svelte.
I think you just did. The late Louis Nix III at Notre Dame wore the number 1, the big nose tackle.
Yeah, it didn't look good on him either.
That's one of those. Let's come back in a moment. We've got plenty ahead. We'll touch on the Cardinals defense, a couple of veteran names pass rushing for the Cardinals. We'll go through the injury report presented by Baptist Health, a little AFC talk, and a discussion about a long-time Jaguars employee, an original, who is retiring, hanging it up at the end of the year. That's all coming up. And if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's handmade vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And veterans, choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Let's take a look at the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. A few names on it, and Urban Meyer updated some of the statuses.
Gave us the status
of a few players on Monday. A.J. Cann, the right guard, with a hamstring. Urban said he'll probably play this week. C.J. Henderson with a hip, wait and see. Trey Herndon with a knee issue. Well, he could be back on the practice field this week. That'd be good news and a boon for the secondary if he's available. James O'Shaughnessy with a high ankle sprain. It's going to be a few weeks at least for him. And Laviska Shenault Jr. with a shoulder issue last week in the game. But Urban said he should be fine for practice, and we'll see how the days go. But at least that's a good start for Laviska moving ahead. There's your Baptist Health injury report. Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
I wish that Laviska had not had those two drops in the game.
Yeah, they were big. They seemed they kind of stalled a couple drives.
Well, when you're losing, the mistakes obviously are magnified, and because that's what you have to do. You have to work on correcting the things that you are not doing well, and drops and both the first and the second game have been an issue. It hasn't been 100 of them, but it's been enough to where it's affected the rhythm and the way that the offense is playing, and you've got to try to find a way to correct that. And with the type of player that Laviska is, and a lot of people say, well, he really didn't have two drops. That one would have been a tough catch to make. Well, he's a tough guy. That's the type of catch and the type of player that I think Laviska Shenault has to be for this football team, that he is not afraid or unwilling to go across the middle and knows that at times when he catches the ball, he's going to get hit, and he still has to make the catch. That's the type of player that he has to be for this football team.
Let's take a look around the AFC South and touch on all the teams' activity in week number 2. And let's start off with the Houston Texans. They had a lead on the Browns. Tyrod Taylor then suffered a hamstring injury. Baker Mayfield was banged up in the game but stayed in, came back in. The Browns rallied to win 31-21. It's a short week, and Davis Mills could get the start Thursday night.
Which he was the Texans' top draft pick, and I believe he was a third-round pick.
It's amazing, right?
Which ought to tell you that the Texans are a ways away from building that team back into a winner. But they play on Thursday Night Football, too. So you're going to have a rookie that is thrust into the lineup on a short week because of an injury to Tyrod Taylor, which is going to miss, I think, a couple weeks with the injury that he had. So, and, man, Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans. Are you kidding me?
What a second half for Tennessee as they beat the Seahawks 33-30. Speaking of, you were talking about backs that get warm as the game goes along. I mean, when Derrick Henry starts to roll and then all of a sudden he's turning up a little yardage, it just goes and goes, and then forget about it.
He has, and I think this is a very unique trait, and it didn't happen the first week, but typically he has this trait that he can start off slow in a game and he finishes extremely strong. And a lot of people think and never thought that he was a burner. Watch him on game day. He runs away from people.
Yes, he does.
And what do you think height weight? 6'4"?
Derrick Henry, I bet he's 260.
250? If I had to guess, 6'4", 250?
I will tell you what the official height and weight they tell you it is
here
in just a moment.
Obviously,
it may not be the accurate one.
It can be different.
Actually, they don't even list it on the Titans website.
But interesting. 6'4", 250 is about what they've called him in the past, but
that's about right.
He might be bigger than that. He's a big guy.
Because he stands next to offensive linemen, you're like, what? Oh, he's not that much
He
smaller
looks like a
than these
defensive
guys.
end.
He does.
I think is the easy way to describe it. He looks like a defensive end in the National Football League that is or an outside linebacker in the National Football League playing a 3-4, defensive end playing a 4-3. He's a big dude.
And then finally, the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz hurt both ankles somehow in the game, and the Rams beat the Colts 27-24.
Yeah, and that's going to be an issue. And Carson Wentz has had a hard time staying healthy, and I hope that he has success. Not against the Jaguars, but I hope that he can find a way back to the player that he once was, which we thought he was the next great up-and-comer.
Yep. Injuries have just ruined his career so far.
And then, the wheels kind of fall off, and next thing you know, he's traded. And the Eagles gave him an extension, and everybody was thinking, this guy is going to be an Eagle for life. He's going to be a great quarterback for the Eagles. He's going to lead them to the playoffs every year. And now he's just trying to stay healthy and stay on the field for a different football team. So that's going to be an interesting watch how that works out through the end of the year. Who's the backup in Indy, by the way? I haven't seen.
Right? Is it Jacoby Brissett? No.
No, I think
it's Eason. Jacob Eason.
Eason?
I'm sorry.
Eason, okay. Brissett backed up for the Miami Dolphins.
I rewound 2 years ago. Sorry.
Jacoby Brissett's the backup for the Miami Dolphins now, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
that's right.
The merry-go-round continues.
Once you're kind of in the club, at least for the next few years, you can kind of stick around. There you have it, a look around the AFC South. Let's wrap the show today with some news that came out late last week about an original Jaguars employee. Dan Edwards joined the Jaguars organization in 1994 in the communications department, worked his way up, became the senior VP of communications in 2010 for the team. He is retiring at the end of the 2021 season and has spent a long time, almost his entire professional career in the National Football League. Started in the league office in 1983. He was an intern in New York alongside another intern named Roger Goodell. And Goodell, of course, now the commissioner of the NFL. He spent a year with the Miami Dolphins, the year the Dolphins went to the Super Bowl, and then the year after that ended up with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1985 through the 1993 season, and then 94 came down to Jacksonville when the stadium was being built. That's before the franchise
27 years with the franchise.
Pretty incredible, and Dan's going to hang it up at the end of the season, and I know we all in our department here in the broadcast world are incredibly close to Dan, and he's done so many things for us personally and professionally over the years. We're going to miss having him around these hallways and being able to pick his brain, and because he's seen a lot of things in those 27 years here, certainly everything that has happened, but just league knowledge and general just good all-around people are hard to find, and you got all that combined in one guy in Dan Edwards.
Well, I've always appreciated Dan. 27 years with the franchise. I think it's like 38 years in the National Football League, and 22 years he's been my boss, and which is a very long time. And couldn't have asked for a better boss. And I've always loved and appreciated his wisdom through the years, and I will still count on and rely upon that wisdom for many years to come, because he's a friend, and I consider Dan a great friend, and he's going to be missed.
And an unbelievable family man, late wife, and the 4 kids, and now grandkids are coming along, and he's going to spend a lot of time with them. And he's got 2 sons that are in the NFL and PR departments right now, and then a daughter that's at Florida in communications at the moment. So there's a lot of future Edwards to be around. They're not going anywhere in the NFL.
They always say, this kind of goes back many years, they always say is that the greatest thing you ever accomplish is your kids. And I've always said this, that the kids are always a great reflection on the men and the women that raised them. And Dan and Patricia, his late wife, raised an incredible family. And and it's going to be, we got to find a way to keep Dan coming back, a little bit to where we can see him. And I don't know, maybe we need to come up with like a Saturday night beer night somewhere.
I was going to say, there might be a 6-pack involved at some point.
If we tell him, hey, Dan, free Bud Light. I think we might get him there.
Maybe so. But we got a little time left with Dan Edwards in the office every day, and that's a great thing for us. We're
January, right? January is when he is officially retiring.
Yeah, right. There might be a point where he's not around, but he's still working remotely, as they say. But he'll be around, which is
he's probably going to take advantage of a 6 leave that he has built up.
Over
After
27
years, he's probably got a little bit accrued, right?
I think there's probably some in the hopper for him. So congratulations to Dan on a fantastic career. We've got some time left with him. So the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos game is done. The Jaguars get the Arizona Cardinals this week. We're about to hear from Urban Meyer coming up. The Urban Meyer Show is next, and I'm curious what Urban thinks of the effort and overall performance last week. It kind of looked better overall. We'll get his thoughts on that coming up.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, is that how are you going to handle Kyler Murray? And I'm sure that, it's Tuesday, and we're talking to him on Tuesdays, and I know Tuesdays are the day in which they're still trying to formulate game plans. Tuesday's a big game planning day, so is he going to have all the answers for us? No, but he wouldn't share it with us anyway.
I don't think so.
But that's going to be the big challenge this week is Kyler Murray, and they've got some weapons on that defense, and then how are you going to block this pass rusher this week? Now he's a challenge now.
There's 2 of them, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. He's getting a little longer in the tooth.
Look,
he's been banged up a few years. It's a new environment.
I'm not buying it. Chandler Jones is a great player, and is still a great player.
They're about the same age. Jones is a year
J.J.
younger.
Watt he's not a great player anymore.
Okay,
he's a good player. But he's not the J.J. Watt that we've watched for many years.
He's not the AP Defensive Player of the Year anymore. But
no, but
he could still.
I can tell you this: the guy is going to be walking into the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Seriously, I mean, great player. I'm not trying to down him or anything, but Father Time has caught up with him a little bit.
You're throwing bulletin board material everywhere today for the Cardinals.
Look, JP. I mean, I'm not here to blow smoke.
You're telling it like it is.
I'm here to tell you what I see.
Spitting the truth.
What I see.
That's what Logs does on this show. No holds barred. Logs just lets it fly.
Every now and again.
We like that. We'll hear from head coach Urban Meyer coming up next. This has been Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Own this thing. It's ours. Come on, let's go. Duval County and 904. Let's own this stadium. Make it ours.
Welcome to the Urban Meyer Show. Urban Meyer Show. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Urban Meyer Show starts right now.
Welcome into the Urban Meyer Show as the Jaguars set to get prepared for the Week 3 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to look back also to Week 2, the loss to the Broncos. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and head coach Urban Meyer with us. Coach, good afternoon. Good to see you. And how are things so far this week?
Oh, good to see you guys. And, some progress was made. We still got a long way to go, obviously, and the goal is getting that W column as soon as possible.
The energy and effort of your team, both in the game last week and then going back to look at it on tape on Monday, how did the guys respond coming back in to take a look at a game like that? And overall, maybe it felt better. Obviously, the result is what you want at the very end of the day, but the energy and effort, you have to be happy with your team.
Yeah, you have two new systems, a new system of offense, new system of defense, and special teams as well. And the one thing that I'm trying to get across here is the best locker rooms usually find ways to win at some point. And I can't be I'm not disappointed at all with their locker room. I'm very pleased with it. Matter of fact, that Jacksonville and 904 and has been through some tough times here. So let's do the best we can. We had a good crowd come out, and we took the opening drive and went right down the field on them, and then kind of slowed down on offense. Defense hung in there, made some great stops for us, and then we ignite the stadium with a 103 kickoff yard return, 103 yard kickoff return to get us within almost a score, if we would have made the 2-point conversion. So our guys came in, and we took the two coordinators took time and showed them there were some crucial errors made that very fixable errors that would have moved us ahead 14-3 at one point. That's one that you just wish you had that one back.
Urban, one thing that was very apparent from game 1 to game 2, as far as organizationally, the communication, the lack of self-inflicted wounds, those things got cleaned up, and because you cleaned them up, it gave you a chance.
Yeah, well, that's, the first, you'd think we'd get that nonsense out of the way in the first 3 games of the preseason, but we made some mistakes at Houston and came back Denver much cleaner. Like you said, a few penalties, but not many, and still too many, but I thought the execution was decent. The offense, we just got to make some more plays, and take care of the football. And the statistics show that if you're +1 in the turnover ratio, and this is for the last 30 years, not just the last 10, it doesn't matter, 3 yards in a cloud of dust like it was, or the I formation like it was 30 years ago, then 20 years ago, a little more spread out. Now it's a spread game. It's still, if you're +1 in a turnover game, you're 67% chance of winning a game, and we're not getting them on defense, and we're turning over, so we've got to fix that.
Well, and you ended up -2, and that's 2 weeks in a row where you were -2 and then -3 the previous week. How do you flip that? And part of that is protecting the ball, but then also part of that is finding a way to get a takeaway on defense, something that the defense has yet to been able to do.
Well, we have a plan to win here, and it's a plan to win I've used really for 20 years, and that's the number one is play great defense. And how do you play great defense? It's not just defense. It's the special teams not putting you in harm's way, the defense in harm's way. It's the offense taking care of the ball, and we didn't do that last 2 weeks. The defense held them to field goals. One of the turnovers was down in there. So we just got to take care of the ball, take care of each other. And, I always tell people the 50-30-20 rule, too, that 50% of all interceptions are usually the quarterback in misread or poor throw, but then 30% is on the wideout. 20% could be a tip ball protection. So it's not always a quarterback, and we just got to take care of the ball.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. And to that end a little bit, there's been a conversation the last day or so since the game about going down the field with the football for Trevor Lawrence, and then maybe looking to take some checkdowns. If he checks down all the time, people will say, oh, he's not pushing the ball down the field enough. There's got to be a balance there somehow. How do you find that?
Well, yeah, you can't worry about what people are telling you to do. It's the defense tells you what to do. If the defense is sitting underneath something, you check the ball down. And there's also times that you got to go scramble and run and get positive yards. He did that yesterday Sunday, had a big first down, and you see it all over the league that, there's not many weak spots out there when you're facing an NFL team, and at times they're going to be covered. So go get you, scramble around, make some plays, and he certainly has the ability to do that.
The one thing I love about Trevor Urban is that his eyes are always down the field. We talked about that last week a little bit, and then the 2 interceptions that he had in this ball game. One of them was a 2nd and 3 after a really nice James Robinson run. Yet the other one was on a 1st and 15. And obviously with the down and distance and not really needing to push the ball down the field, that's probably a little disappointing. But he's a young player and he's learning, and he's probably got to learn that. It's a hard lesson, but he's probably got to learn it.
Yeah, I've been around great quarterbacks. Really, I've been fortunate in my entire career. And this guy's special. This guy is a guy that he's getting better every week. He works his tail off. He's a guy that I don't want to say he's unfazed, but he just bounces right back, and that's exactly what you want out of your quarterback.
Coach, there was a moment in the game, speaking of Trevor Lawrence, that he was almost rolled up on the lower leg there on the left leg, the front leg of his throwing stance. And very fortunate he didn't come away with an injury there. What was your thought when you saw that play unraveling?
Oh, just same thing. That's the worst part of this darn game is the injuries, and especially if it's your number one pick quarterback. So I'll tell you what, our offensive line, for the most part, against those 2 pass rushers, one's Von Miller, a premier pass rusher, and then Chubb, the other guy on the other side, very good player. And we're going to have our hands full this week against the Cardinals. It's every week. But they hung in there. We had 1 sack, and that was on a twist by Vaughn. So Jawan Taylor and Cam Robinson really hung in there pretty good.
Yeah, Urban on when they actually replayed the replay of Trevor kind of getting bent over inside the stadium, there was kind of a collective gasp between everybody in the stadium, and rightly so. And you talk about the offensive line's performance. One of the things that I was impressed with is that here you are getting ready to face a Broncos team that clearly has a really good football player in Von Miller. Bradley Chubb was kind of to be determined based upon his health and where would he be at as far as level of play. But you guys had a plan from a coaching staff standpoint. I liked it in that at times Jawan Taylor and Cam Robinson were on their own, but at times they got some help, and that's always good to see.
Yeah, our, Coach Bevel and Schott really do a nice job with Warhop on that, and that was that's going to be the same thing this week with number 55 for the Cardinals. You better know where he's at every snap.
All right, guys, let's come back in a moment. Coach will look back one more few minutes here of the last ball game against the Denver Broncos. A little later, we'll look ahead to that Week 3 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Secure the best seats for the best price. Become a Jaguars season ticket member today. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We're off and running. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, along with the Jaguars head coach, getting ready for Week 3. The Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals coming up at TIAA Bank Field. We're rewinding, though, to Week 2. Our final thoughts before we put it to bed and move ahead to Week number 3. The wide receivers for this team. Let's start with Marvin Jones Jr., a guy who's just battling through, 10-year vet. You know, he came through with a big touchdown catch in last week's game. Nice diving grab in the back right corner of the end zone, and just kind of carries the load a lot of times on offense. And he's been at it for a long time. That's what you expected from him, I think, coming into this season.
Yeah, he was with Darrell Bevell at the Detroit Lions, and we knew we had some young, talented receivers here with Oviska and DJ, and we wanted a veteran guy. You know, we wanted a guy that is experienced. He knows how to handle himself, take care of his body, prep for games, and he's been better than I even imagined. You know, he's a consummate professional athlete, the way he takes care of his body, and then the way he works at practice. And so he's been, Trevor wants him in the game too, because Trevor really trusts him, and we're still working. We're still not all on the same page with the rest of the wideouts. We've had some injuries. Philip Dorsett was dinged up a little bit. Obviously, DJ Chark missed almost all of training camp. So we're still a work in progress at the receiving position.
Yeah, you can tell, Urban, that the amount of time that Trevor and Marvin had in preseason, as well as Laviska, because he didn't miss any practices, that I don't want to say the chemistry's great, but the chemistry is better maybe than with some of the other wide receivers, and it takes time to develop that with everybody else. And I go back to the story, we had an opportunity to watch Tom Brady practice a few years ago, and he wanted his guys in the huddle and nobody else because he knew that how valuable that time was in training camp.
It certainly is, and I just, it broke your heart because DJ was having a good training camp, but when he broke his finger, he's out, and he missed all the preseason games. And it's really a unique skill set, just the combination, the work that you just mentioned, Jeff, about the quarterbacks and receivers being on the same page, because every coverage is going to be tight. And then, the depth of routes, the understanding, the different releases, et cetera, that these receivers have, and him and Marvin are on the same page as well as anybody.
In a game, you had a big play on that first drive, a little route to James O'Shaughnessy, your tight end, and high ankle sprain, you're going to be without him for a couple weeks. And I know that you talked recently about how you can replace a guy like him, and it's not going to be easy. You have Jacob Hollister, who you were able to acquire off of waivers from, I believe, the Seattle Seahawks. How will trying to find somebody to fill his shoes or to replace his role go?
Well, that was a big play in that opening drive. First third down, we hit a probably 20, 25-yard catch by O'Shaughnessy and a high ankle sprain. So you're right. There's two unique spots about tight end. One's, we call him the Y, and that's the big blocker, but he's also a receiver. And then you got more of the athlete, H, and Hollister we just brought in, and he was with Brian Schottenheimer at Seattle, and they, we went and got him when he was released by someone, and he's already shown flashes in practice.
Yeah, I saw that before the game, your tight ends coach Tyler Bowden working with him intensely. How long does it take to learn a new playbook in the NFL for a guy like that?
That's all new to me. Here you are, shake a guy's hand, he's playing for you. But he's been with Bevel. He's a very smart guy. I found that out last week, and he's great attitude, and he's a twitchy guy. That means he's athletic. He can get out of breaks pretty good, in good hands.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. The running game coach, James Robinson, 11 carries, 47 yards. Carlos Hyde had a couple touches in the game as well. And even gave Chenault a handoff last week as well. When the run game is there, it feels like it's been effective. It's just a matter of getting it maybe a little bit more balanced. We touched on that a moment ago. What is the focus this week on the running game for your team?
There's going to be a good defense we're playing with the Phoenix Cardinals, but we have been running the ball decent, and we don't run the ball enough. We find ourselves getting behind a little bit in that second half, and so we just need to be more consistent. That's where that you're going to hear quite a bit because we're not that. We're showing flashes, but we're not been consistent, and running game is a perfect example.
Yeah, a little more on James Robinson, too. I mean, what have you seen when he has been able to touch the football? Has he been as advertised to you? I know you didn't see him in person last year. You've heard all the stories about his exploits a season ago in his rookie campaign. Is he as advertised for you?
He's as advertised as a person. He's arguably the hardest working guy on the team. He's a guy that we work so hard. I want to get him to the second level to see him run because, last year we just didn't have many big plays, and, last week we did not. And it's so hard to move a ball consistently. The first drive we had three big plays. We had one to Shaughnessy, Marvin Jones on a crossing route, and then Marvin Jones with a touchdown. In the run game you need to, I know it's great to get 3, 4 or 5 yards, but every once in a while you got to pop one. And that's another reason why we went after Travis Etienne is, he's a big play waiting to happen. So, he's as advertised, to answer your question, James Robinson, and I'm dying to get him in the second level.
You talked about trying to find a little bit more balance offensively. How do you go about that? Is that one of those things that sometimes as a coach you got to fight the urge to want to maybe make a pass on a maybe not a favorable down and distance? How do you go about that maybe when the score is fairly close like it was in this past game?
Yeah, just more disciplined, and I sometimes got to pop in the headset maybe and just to say that, but I kind of been letting the coordinators go with it because we're still all new and we're still working through some kinks, and I don't want to bother them, but we do, and Coach Bevel understands that, and certainly Hop wants to run it every down, so we got to have some balance.
One of the plays that really stood out in my mind, and I wanted to bring this guy up because I know you've got some great respect for him, Brandon Linder, and it was on a pretty good James Robinson run where Linder snaps the ball in shotgun to Trevor Lawrence, and then Trevor had actually changed the formation, had gotten James Robinson, who would line up on his left, over to his right. And then once Brandon Linder snaps that ball, he's got to pull around to his left and pick up a linebacker. Not many centers in the National Football League have the wherewithal to where they can snap the ball and then have the agility and the awareness to make that block and pull around from the center position. I thought it was brilliant, really nice play.
Yeah, I think he's one of the top centers in the league. He's an established veteran. He's an even better person, a great leader, and he wants to win in the worst way. He's here in 17 when the Jags had that great year, and I've had some really good conversations with him. I love the guy, and we all go to work for a lot of reasons. I go to work for guys like that. We got to get that guy some wins.
Urban will come back in a moment. A little more Jaguars defensive talk, and we'll look ahead to the Arizona Cardinals in week number 3. This is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
This is Ice-T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
it's got to be Tide.
Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Have you painted yourself for game day and dyed your pet's fur to match? Do you bleed your team's colors and deck your pet out in team gear? Do you plan game day watch parties for fellow sports lovers and their beloved pets? Then you are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars game day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union, and welcome back to the Urban Meyer Show. Busy schedule at Daly's Place, just outside TIAA Bank Field. Santana tonight, 3:11 tomorrow. Counting Crows Thursday, Coheed and Cambria. Tickets at dailysplace.com. And Urban, I'm going to guess that you're a Santana fan. Is that accurate?
Oh, just so-so. I got, I think Darius Rucker's rolling in town in a few weeks. I'm a big Darius Rucker fan.
Okay, I can see that.
So on Santana. Come on, he's like one of the greatest ever.
He's a legend. And that'll be a great show tonight and a great schedule in October as well. Check it out at dailysplace.com. All right, the challenge ahead this week, the Arizona Cardinals come in with one of the hottest offenses in football, Coach. Kyler Murray leading the way. And, you know, we talked a couple weeks ago about Tyrod Taylor, his ability to extend plays. This guy, it feels like, takes it to another level. He has a baseball background. I know he was an outfielder, but some of the throws he makes, it almost seems like it's the left side of the infield playing baseball. You played infield. You kind of get that. The twists and the fadeaway throws and that kind of thing. And it's always on target somehow. I mean, this guy can really extend a play and be a problem.
He can. He's electric. You know, we had trouble sacking Tyrod, and then also there was another quarterback we struggled getting on the ground. But, yeah, he moves around really, really well. And, you know, we were just left a defensive meeting. We have a plan in place. The guy's, you know, he's obviously not very big, so he can't see at times, and he just creates space back there and keeps his eyes downfield. He's got a very talented group of receivers as well.
Yeah, he's accounted for 9 touchdowns, 7 passing, 2 on the ground. And, Urban, when I turned the film on to watch him, it kind of reminded me of the first Rocky movie when Rocky's trying to chase the chicken in the alleyway. I mean, he's a guy that just is hard to get a hold of, and he's quick as all get out.
But Rocky did eventually catch him, so we got to catch this guy. Yeah, he's, you know, there's you know, if you stay in coverage and you force him to play the game, that's what it's really difficult to do, but that's going to be the plan is force him to play and not just give him all the space that a guy like that needs.
One time, or happened in the past before, but one of the things that you got with a great mobile quarterback, do you try to put as much defensive speed on the field as you can? I mean, you always want to do that. But in some cases, do you say, okay, we don't need as many big guys because we want to ensure – because I've seen it in the past before where some teams will end up using a linebacker or a safety or a defensive back to almost play like a spy technique on a quarterback that has great mobility like Kyler Murray. Is that something you even consider?
Sure it is. It's something you consider, but there's – you know, you're going to – you're pulling someone from maybe coverage, you're pulling someone from a pass rush lane when you do that, and so you have to be very judicious about that. You know, if this was just the Kyler Murray show, then of course, but he's got a good running back, he's got very good wideouts, you know, one of the best in the league in Hopkins, so you just got to be very judicious about it and change up the looks on him.
You mentioned DeAndre Hopkins. They've got some other receivers there, too, of course, Christian Kirk. A.J. Green is on this team. He's been around the league forever, it feels like. But I know the name Rondale Moore probably brings up some bad memories for you and your last college loss, your 32nd career loss in 2018 with Purdue. He had a big game that day for the Boilermakers, and he's the leading receiver in targets, catches, and yards for Arizona. And he's not a huge guy. He's a shifty little guy and can go play.
Yeah, very powerful athlete, though. He's twitched, like you said. He hurt us badly when we played him. A lot of respect for him as an athlete and a competitor.
One of the guys, though, that I got great respect for, we watched him for a long time with the Houston Texans, some great battles with some past Jaguars cornerbacks, namely Jalen Ramsey. But DeAndre Hopkins is this guy can do it all. He's got great catchability. He's slippery. He has speed. And the one thing about him is that he's one of the greatest competitors, Urban, that I've ever seen.
And his 50-50 balls, it's not, he's got, I just watched him again and again, and the ability to go attack the ball out of space and beat people to the ball, and then his hand-eye coordination is elite.
On the other side, slowing down that pass rush, we talked a little bit about that, running the football, but when you're in those passing situations, Chandler Jones had those 5 sacks in week 1. We know what J.J. Watt can do. He's been at this at a high level for a long, long time, just wearing different threads now. Those two guys, veteran players in the league, and you got to have a plan for both of them.
Yeah, Jones really went after the Tennessee Titan, who's a heck of a player, their left tackle, and had a bunch of sacks, 2 sack fumbles. And then J.J. Watt, someone made a comment to me, he's not the same J.J. Watt, and I watched him on videotape, and he's the same J.J. Watt that I remember. And that's a relentless pursuit to the football, tough as nails. So, our O-line really did a decent job last week. We count on them again this week.
Great focus always needed for a team like this Arizona Cardinals football team. And probably the greatest challenge, Urban, is some of the things that can happen off schedule going back to the offensive side of the ball for the Cardinals. I mean, how do you prepare for the off-schedule plays? Is that something that you can say, hey, look, in practice, do you have somebody play that role to maybe – have the play extend and have maybe a running back act as a quarterback? How do you do that?
Yeah, the problem I'm finding out in the NFL is you just don't get that many reps during the week in practice. You're down to 48 now. You got the practice squad, and we're still finalizing our practice plans right now. But I'm in the world I lived in, when you had 90 players, you practiced. You had 25 reps of Pascal. We get 6 now. You had multiple reps of teamwork, and then you could say, okay, let's do a couple scramble drills, but you don't, you just got to be very judicious about how much time you're keeping these guys on the field and getting them rested up. So we will have a plan. It's not solidified as we speak.
All right, Urban, coming back home, second week in a row at TIAA Bank Field, and you touched on this after the game, the intensity that the fans brought in moments in that game, especially with the early lead and then maybe the late rally that just fell a little bit short last week. Got to do it again this week in the home field and have everybody ready to go against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I said on behalf of our team and our players, and we all have a dream of the stadium just exploding with energy, and I know it's happened before. And we have to do our part. We're still building a team here and building an organization. And but I just want to tell them thanks for being there. And I heard them. We listened. They helped us in that game. And I'm going to ask them to come back again.
And Urban, we haven't talked on this yet. Special teams, Josh Lambo's coming out of the gates a little bit, struggling. Obviously, he's missed 3 kicks. And I know you got great confidence in him.
I do, and how do you do that? First of all, he's had a heck of a career. Second of all, and I told him this, he's as hard a working specialist as I've ever had, and we've had some great ones. He's, takes care of himself. He works extremely hard. That goes from January, from the first day we were here. And I've seen him hit it in practice. So, we do have confidence in Josh.
Final thought on that, Urban. We noticed at least in training camp that in the operation of field goals in practice, you're right there off the holder's hip, like right in the middle of the thing. What does that do for you, and what does that do for Josh?
Well, Josh actually doesn't like that as much, so I got out of his way. I like to watch the mechanics of I time it, and then I also like to see, and I usually can, where the foot hits the ball. I like to see that part of it. But he likes his space, and so we gave him his space. And but we still obviously time it, and I have to watch on film more the contact with the football.
One thing is for certain, having a good operation like what you're talking about is critical to any kicker's success. And your center, and especially your holder, Logan Cook, who I think is one of the better holders in the National Football League, not to mention he's one of the better punters. He certainly is a good one.
Yeah, and he's a leader in our team. I made the point that you have Ross, our lawn snapper, you got Logan and Lambo. Those are 3 of our hardest working guys on our team. And right now, special teams is our strongest unit on the team. Our coverage units have been fantastic. We averaged 49.5. We gave up a 20-yard return, but that was a 65-yard punt. So it's still a 40 net. So That's our strongest. That's part of our culture, and those three are a big part of it.
Urban, thanks for the time as always. Good luck to you this week, and let's get a W against the Cardinals.
Thanks. Good to be with you guys.
Head coach Urban Meyer joining us on the Urban Meyer Show. Back after this on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk. Checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk. Checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's the Urban Meyer Show. And JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer joining us each Tuesday afternoon for the first half of the program, and a few things to review there. I think the loss to Purdue still hurts him.
You think?
2018.
That was about the shortest answer he could have given you there, JP.
Might have been a little aggressive on my part. Sorry, Urban. And then he's a Darius Rucker fan. Okay, then we get that. He'll be at that show. But he likes the energy that his team has shown, I think, as the game went along. They still played hard. There's still a lot to work on with this team, though, and they're going to go attack this thing.
Well, I mean, look, they got a lot to work on, and part of it is it just takes time. I mean, that's just the reality. You'd like to have the first pick overall in the draft and have things just magically change with fairy dust, but it doesn't work that way. I mean, it doesn't. And I'll tell you, share a story with you.
Oh, I can't. Story time with Logs. I like that.
When I was a young player and I first came into the league, and I remember one of the first matchups ever playing against the Indianapolis Colts, and I go against a guy by the name of Chris Hinton, and Chris Hinton kicked my butt. I mean, kicked my butt, and I just remember thinking to myself that if it's going to be this way every week, I don't belong. But, you know that you have confidence and you know that you have to get to work, and there were things that you had to understand and learn and continue to work on physically and mentally. Going against a guy like Eric Dickerson my rookie year. I mean, he ran right through me like I didn't even exist.
Sure.
I mean, these are all things that you experience, and then you file them away, and you file away the learning moment from it, or the teaching experience from it, so that you're better the next time. And all of these things are what Trevor Lawrence is going through right now. And I can tell you this, what a quarterback goes through and has to deal with compared to what a defensive end went through.
Right.
It's not even comparable. There's a play that I'm going to diagram
On where? Which platform is this?
Jaguars All Access.
So you have many. You're multifaceted.
And it was the first interception that he throws.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sit back and I draw it up, I'll draw it up in the football lab, okay? And then when you draw it up and you just sit back and you take a look at it in its entirety, you go, holy cow, how do you decipher where to go? And you're looking at an offensive play, but then you also have to factor in the defensive formation, the defensive coverage. And then, oh, by the way, before all that, you got to make the play call in the huddle.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember the snap count. You have to make any adjustments that you may have to make. And then you have to be aware of the rush and everything else before you throw this ball. I mean, all of these things are extremely difficult. So the amount of information that a quarterback has to process before the physical things have to be required is immense. And that's why it takes so much for quarterbacks to adapt to the game in the NFL. Some never adapt. And I'm confident that Trevor Lawrence will. That thought has never even entered my mind that he won't adapt or get better. I think it's going to happen. He's got the right mindset. It's just going to take time. And unfortunately, during that time, there will be some moments where you go, oh, boy.
That's how it works with a rookie quarterback in the NFL. We're back in a moment. We'll get into the Jaguars defense and their challenge ahead this week.
A big one.
Against the Arizona Cardinals. That's coming up in week number 3. Secure the best seats at the best price. Become a Jaguars season ticket member today. They're still available. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. And this is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
We're back. The Urban Meyer Show continues. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato on the audio, Brent Reber on the video side. Jaguars defense has a tall task ahead of them this week. Kyler Murray is coming to town, and he has put together a fantastic start for the Arizona offense. Of course, a former first overall pick in the NFL, the 9th overall pick in the baseball draft a few years ago. That's long gone now, at least for now. But last week, 400 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, couple of picks. He also ran for a touchdown in each of the first 2 games of the season. He has 7 touchdown passes total for the year. And he's a problem because he doesn't just stand back there and pat the football. He runs around, he can outrun people, and then throw it 40 yards, 50 yards down the field.
He is, I think he's very popular, too, as far as the popularity of him because of fantasy football. If you have had Kyler Murray at any point so far this year, you've been pretty happy because he does a lot of crazy things. And look at the numbers. I mean, 36 attempts, 400 yards passing against the Vikings. And the crazy thing is that he throws a lot of picks, but he still wins, even when he throws picks, because that's how dangerous he can be at times. And, they list him at 5'10", and he might not be that. He might be 5'9". And it's amazing to me that a quarterback that has less vision, okay, that he can still accomplish some of the things that he does. And I think one of the reasons why he has such great success out of the pocket, he's incredibly athletic. He's got great mobility, and also he can now see the field a little bit better. And it will be a problem for a Jaguars defense this week. I think that's going to be a big-time issue for them, and they're going to have to be really good this week.
If he's like scrambling around, then that just gives the receivers more time to get open down the field or, play, scramble ball rules. And then all of a sudden, if you're a defensive back, you have to chase that guy around and cover him for an extra 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, we saw it happen in the first 2 games, and it was kind of 2 different quarterbacks that did it 2 different ways. Tyrod Taylor escaped out of the pocket and then ran it a couple times, and then he escaped out of the pocket and then threw it deep, so – and then all of a sudden you have Teddy Bridgewater who just scrambles around to buy extra time to find a guy down the field. So, it's the same thing, but it's different. And this week is a whole nother level now from Teddy Bridgewater, and certainly a whole nother level, I think, from Tyrod Taylor, because this young man, Kyler Murray, will get out of the pocket like that in a minute. He don't care. I mean, his eyes don't stay down the field in the pocket a lot of times.
And then he's got the weapons outside. DeAndre Hopkins.
Look, before we even get to the outside, I mean, he's got 2 really good backs. Okay? Remember James Conner, by the way, he used to be the starting running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I do.
He's a backup in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay, was it Chase Edmonds is the starter? I mean, so you've got 2 really good backs. The tight end group for them, but the wide receiver group is good. A.J.
Really good.
Green, DeAndre Hopkins, this young man that you just completely threw in the face of Urban Meyer.
Yeah, sorry, Urban.
And then let's not forget about
Rondale Moore.
Kirk,
is his name.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, they got so many different options out there. That's what it is.
This is a tough task this week. And the Arizona Cardinals are scoring a lot of points. They have an elite pass rusher.
Yeah.
They have Budda Baker, the safety, is a really good football player. They've got some really good football players in Arizona. The one thing I think that will give you a chance to win is that you have to break the 2021 defensive streak of not getting a takeaway yet. And I said it last week that if they were going to win last week, and this was an article that Johnny Osher, you write in it, I write in it, a bunch of people write in about what our thoughts are on the game for that weekend.
Yes.
And what we think is going to happen. And I said that the Jaguars needed to get 2 takeaways this past week against the Broncos to be able to get success. And I'm sticking to 2 this week too. I mean, that's the number.
How many?
2.
2.
You got to get
plus
2 takeaways.
Or just 2 takeaways. In the ratio,
you always have to factor in the plus minus because if you give the ball away 5 times, 2 ain't enough.
Right, you need 3 more.
Yeah,
right,
so plus 2. I think you need to be plus 2 this week.
We'll come back in a moment and get into the special teams units for this Jaguars team. We heard Urban Meyer earlier discuss Josh Lambo, still believes in him. Kick return team has done very well. All that coming up. This is the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk. Checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk. Checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. The Urban Meyer Show continues. Head coach Urban Meyer joining us in the first half hour each week, every Tuesday here on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you're along with us today. The Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals coming up in Week 3 at TIAA Bank Field. Well, the kicking game has not been very good this year. In fact, 0 for 3 in field goals.
The field goal game.
The field goals.
Yeah, don't lump the punting into that category because the punting.
That's punting. Kicking is kicking.
Well, some people say kicking game is kicking and punting.
No, it's not. Punting is punting.
No.
Kicking
when you say
kicking.
the kicking game, that's considered punting and kicking.
Well, the punter is.
If you want to talk specifically about kicking, let's just say kicking.
Well, okay, let's say kicking. The kicking game.
Okay, who's on third?
What? 0 for 3 in field goals. Let's put it that way for Josh Lambo. He was 0 for 2 last week, and that was obviously a big piece of the game as it went along into the second half. Those field goals would have been massive for the way the game was played and managed, and all. That's how it goes. And we heard Urban Meyer earlier saying, hey, we've kind of backed away from the intense practice pressure of kind of being over the operation of the snap and hold and field goal, and he still believes in the kicker, at least for now.
Well, we saw throughout training camp what you were referring to, and that Urban is standing right by Logan Cook while he's holding for a field goal. And a lot of coaches will do that because they want to essentially create pressure on the kicker. Some coaches, and we've done this in the past when I was in New York, they would have guys standing around with like cloth balls, okay? And then when the kicker would get ready to kick, we would throw it at the kicker. So his level
Really?
absolutely. So his level of concentration, or balled up towels, his level of concentration would have to be on the ball itself. Now, we wouldn't hit him in the face or anything like that. We would take it and throw it past him, just trying to distract
Come on,
him.
Logs. I know you better than this.
Seriously.
You get a
It's
shot
like
on a kicker, you are taking it.
You would take like foam balls or rolled up towels and throw them to where it would kind of distract his visual picture to see what his level of concentration was. I mean, there's different ways to create pressure and to maybe instill more concentration in the kicker. But I guess Josh didn't like Urban Meyer standing right there. And so anyway, he's missed 3 kicks. They haven't been easy kicks either now. It's not like he's missing, 27, 28-yard chip shot, a 35-yarder, and then a 47-yarder.
No, they're two 50s.
Been a 47, a 52, and a 55.
Yeah.
But Josh has typically been fantastic in the past from 50-plus. In fact, going to that game, he was 10 of 12 from beyond 50. Now, if you go and you look at beyond 50 prior to the previous game, he was 10 of 11. I mean, he's been outstanding. He's been outstanding at home here, 41 of 41. And that's the first 2 misses he's ever had.
Right.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the challenge for Josh, and he's been around the block. This is not a young kicker that you're sitting there going, oh, my gosh, bring somebody in. We've got to get somebody else now. You're going to give him a little benefit of the doubt, and you're going to give him an opportunity to get it right. The good thing is that the operation itself, the snapper and the holder, are really good. Really good.
Joe Fortunato, the manager radio, chiming in now. Hello, Joe.
Good morning. This may be more for Loggy, but tell me how you feel about this too, JP.
Okay.
We all haven't really gotten a chance to be close with Urban Meyer. Okay. But as a kicker, how do you go up to him and say, I don't want you standing next to me?
You go up to him and tell him that if you don't want it.
Yeah, you just say it. Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you're not liking, I mean, that's
– be honest, right?
I mean, we're all grown men.
Yeah.
You go up and say
He's not going to lose a scholarship.
Hey, look, Coach, I appreciate, maybe what you're trying to get a look. I mean, if you're a kicker and you don't like that and you feel like that affects your preparation, look, I'm not some rookie kicker that's, this is my first rodeo. I've been around the block. I have made 41 of 41 kicks at this stadium right here, and I would prefer you not stand next to me during practice.
Yeah.
Now, if that's what he wanted to say, I mean, he should say that.
Yeah, right. The other part
I don't know if that has anything to do with the misses, though.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I just found it curious.
Yeah.
I was curious, genuinely curious what a head coach would gain or a kicker would, all that. That's why we asked him that earlier tonight. The other part of special teams that was very nice, of course, on Sunday was the kickoff return game. 102-yard touchdown for Jamal Agnew. And, Urban earlier had said, hey, we're not going to play him in the preseason. He's too valuable. Really? It's a kick return.
We kept wanting to see it.
How many kickoffs do you really return in the NFL? Well, in week 2, he takes one to the house and nearly made it a one-score game if they hit the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it was, and he got some really nice blocks. Look, there was about 3 blocks on that kick return that were outstanding. Love the one at the end where Russell is running down and Chappelle Russell, the backup linebacker, is kind of leading the way, and he gets the last block that springs him into the end zone. But Claybrook's got a real good block. Some other guys got some good blocks, and he made one really nice cut, and then his speed took over. And we were actually talking about it in broadcast. When are we going to see the impact of this kick returner? And then, bam, here it is. So it was great to see.
Does that change other teams' approaches now? Everybody just try to boom it out of the end zone?
No, I don't think so. I think most teams are going to still stick with what they do. Most teams try to kick it out of the end zone, and I think that the Broncos tried to do that. They just missed one. But McManus, their kicker, had it was basically like a 2.5 step before he kicks off and crushes the ball into the end zone, and he just missed one, and he paid for it.
We'll come back in a moment. Our wrap up this program, our final thoughts ahead of the Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. It's the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
This is Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day with prizes including a behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal Promotion. Please drink responsibly.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. Final moments of the Urban Meyer Show on this Tuesday afternoon. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals coming up Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff time at TIAA Bank Field. It's week 3 of the National Football League. The Jags are 0-2. The Cardinals are not. They are 2-0. And it's going to be a challenge for this Jaguars team to try to snap what is now, Logs, a 17-game losing skid for the franchise. 0-2 for this season.
Yeah, it's been a long time since this team has won, and I know a lot of people are trying to do the right things to try to make it right, and you just got to keep working, and that's the only thing you can do because there is no shortcuts to success in the National Football League. That's the thing about the NFL. It's incredibly challenging, week in and week out, and there's not a great differential in talent. But there is enough to make a difference, I can tell you that.
Yeah, just got to keep on plugging away.
Well, this football team it needs to. I mean, it's got work to do yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the future and everything. But for this year, your goal should be to continue to get better, to have a young quarterback, to start to have success, to get better week in and week out. But I mean, you're still going to need the additional talent on this football team to take it where it needs to go. But right now it's a painful stage because you still don't have some of that talent, in my opinion, and then you have a young quarterback that's going to be going through the growing pains of being a quarterback in the NFL. And you can't avoid that.
No. Quickly this week, we'll have Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks Wednesday afternoon on Jaguars.com. Jags Drive Time in the morning, 10 o'clock on Jags Drive Time. Jaguars All Access TV Thursday night, 7 o'clock, right?
Correct. And then don't forget about tomorrow night, Jags Wired.
Oh, wow.
We will break down in the football lab the touchdown throw in the first drive by Trevor Lawrence.
Looking forward to that. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer. For Jeff Lageman and our entire crew, I'm JP Shadrick. This has been the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.